All right, welcome to this week's Reddit reply. We're going to be talking about some of the new cards and interactions that are going on. People wondering if they should buy certain older products and maybe the pool aspect as well. As a friendly reminder, we're going to have more questions just for our patrons and our YouTube members. So any tier that's at the woodworking beginner or higher, we'll get you access to those videos. I really appreciate everyone that supported the channel that way. So thank you very much. And to all my listeners on the podcast, I appreciate you as well. Let's go check out this week's Reddit reply. All right, friendly reminder, if you haven't hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications for YouTube, do all that. If you're on the podcast, make sure you follow along and hit whatever the subscribe button is. Leave a 5-star review. All that stuff helps a ton. Or if you want to do that like as a YouTube viewer, go to the podcast and vice versa. Also really cool. So first one, can that hero play that card? Falcon spoiler. So really quick, there's gonna be a quick spoiler here with the newish cards, but they were announced a few days ago now, earlier this week. So the Falcon spoilers that recently revealed the Captain America card for Bucky and the Falcon that include the Captain America shield link or card linked. Wow, I can't talk to that. We're getting there. So I know Steve Rogers can't play the Captain America card, but if both Steve Rogers and Falcon are in play, could they both use cards to throw around the one Captain America shield card? Once Falcon has the title out, I don't see much stopping them, though the one shield can be out at a time. So the problem with that is if we look at the card, the Captain America card, right, the new leadership card they showed, doesn't actually make Falcon Captain America, right? It's an upgrade with the title. So it gives him like the title, but he himself is not Captain America. He's just Falcon with the title of Captain America. So you wouldn't be able to do that. Like it's kind of confusing the way that would work. I'm not 100% sure they can both have the shields out either, to be completely honest. So Captain America Shield, the leadership version, it does say it's linked to the Captain America upgrade. So Captain America wouldn't be able to use it either because it links to that one. So I don't think that would work in general. Obviously, we don't know the ruling on it yet and like what it all details, but I'm pretty sure that wouldn't work at all. So I don't know. Next up, oh, wait, there we go. Next up, there's a Thor clarification. In Thor's text, it states after you engage a minion and draw 2 cards. I want to Okay, just quick note. It also says parentheses limit once per phase. That's an important wording here, but so on. I'm just making sure I'm interpreting this correctly. So would engage be when Thor attacks a minion and draw 2 cards? That's how I read it, but I also see it being when a minion enters play, they are engaging Thor. So draw 2 cards. The way it's worded, you engage a minion, that makes me think Thor activates against a minion. No. So engaging is just like they're now one with you, right? Like attacking someone isn't engaging them. Like you don't engage and disengage between your attacks, right? So the second a minion comes on the table, I'm about to use the word to define the word, and engages you. When the minion comes out on the table into your play area, it has now engaged you, and that's the time you would draw 2 cards. That's it, right? That's all that would happen. Now, with the once per phase is important because it can happen on the player phase or the villain phase or both times and you would still get it, right? So if you were during your phase, you used a card to draw a minion out, you got that. And then during the villain phase, and you would draw 2 cards. And during the villain phase, the encounter card, let's say, was a minion, you would also draw 2 cards, right? Just important to note that so that, you have the ability to get a lot of cards, which is pretty sweet. So anyway, but no, engaging isn't like you attacking. That's you attacking, not engaging. I think they've also kind of gotten away from the engaging word like a little bit and kind of cleaned that up. That's also a whole side note conversation. I'm a big proponent that they should do a second core box when the quote unquote current environment takes over, and they should clean up all these words with engage and everything else. Like all these things that are kind of confusing now because there's so many keywords and words. Like clean it all up. Not that this is like super confusing, but I'm just saying like in general, there's a lot of confusion around certain things. It's your time to clean it up. All right, Bishop in Age of Apocalypse. Bishop is my favorite Marvel character, and I was wondering if the AOA expansion was worth buying, or if I should look for someone who is selling him from a cannibalized box, and what aspects I should go with when I get Bishop. Thanks in advance. So the Age of Apocalypse box is really good in general. Like it's one of the better boxes I think out there. I'm trying to think. The villains were all solid. I didn't really care for the second one, the Four Horsemen, but like the other ones I thought were pretty good and fun. I know people had issues with Beast or Dark Beast, Dork Beast, as you should probably call him. I know people had issues with that, but it was straightforward, and I kind of like that. Magic is a really good hero in that game. But yeah, Bishop is really good. The only thing I will say is, again, I'm a firm believer that you should buy cycles as a whole because Bishop will do better with more X-Men cards. So you want other X-Men heroes as well. You can skip Next Evolution and all that. Not because like I think it's bad. Like I don't enjoy that cycle, but because a lot of that stuff is like contained in its own way. Age of Apocalypse does have some cards for it, but it doesn't have cards generally speaking for Age of Apocalypse, like if that makes sense. Very generally speaking. So Bishop's really good. I doesn't For me, it hasn't really mattered what aspect I play in because I mean, leadership's probably the best aspect. But generally, I'm just going for massive amounts of resource cards, right? Like that's all I'm trying to do with Bishop. So as long as I have those, that's all that matters. And it's one of the reasons why like I don't really enjoy playing Bishop anymore. He's very straightforward in the way that you play him. Like there's not a lot of nuance. Like load up on resources and you'll be kind of good to go. Get his rifle and his armor. Is that the other one? I think it's the armor. Get those two things out and like you won. Like it's too straightforward for me personally. Some people like it, totally cool. But just for me, it's not very enjoyable. Or has it? Not that it's not enjoyable. That's not the right way to phrase that. It was very enjoyable, and then it has subsequently been less enjoyable over time. But to get back to the point, to get back on topic, yeah, I think you should get Age of Apocalypse. I think it's a really good box, especially if you love Bishop as a character. Like, yeah, and try to find someone with a cannibalized box is gonna be tough because most people try to keep this stuff together. You could go to probably Kingdom Come Games, I believe it is, or Kingdom Come Cards. I forgot what their website is. You could probably go that route, and you might be able to find it there, but that's a little tricky too. So. All right, next one is keeping allies alive. I've been reviewing a number of upcoming cards from the Falcon release, and I realized there are a number of aerial leadership cards that focus on readying allies. Flight Squadron readies an aerial ally Hugin and Moonin, maybe correctly. Readies characters you control, not specifically allies, but specifically aerial. Flying Formation, previously released, readies with the 3 aerial characters, not specifically allies. I'm sure there are many instances with other cards not related to leadership or aerial. I was intrigued to use these for some sort of archetypes, but my issue is if you do not get much benefit from them. Since the allies are still take consequential damage when they activate, all that happens is that you expedite the benefit of your you get from your allies. The total amount of damage or threat removal will stay the same. Kinda. My question is, can anyone think of a way to take advantage of readying allies? The only idea I've had so far would be Ready Arrow or Cloud9 to add multiple instances of +1 attack or Thor. So that's a good one, is that when you have to like exhaust your ally to like add their stats to your thing. Always a very solid one. The thing is, I disagree with this notion in this community, and maybe someone will disagree with me and make a good argument why I'm wrong about this. I value 3 and 3 damage this turn differently than 3 and then 3 damage. Like, I don't think those are exactly the same thing. Generally speaking, because if I have a minion I'm dealing with and they have 6 life, obviously getting 3 and 3 damage on that minion and knocking them out is worth a lot more than dealing 3 now, dealing with them, hitting me, and then taking them out next turn. Right? There's a lot more value in that to me. The same could be said for removing threat off of schemes or dealing damage to the villain or whatever it may be. So I don't see that as like, oh, I'm just speeding up them getting knocked out. If it's providing something where I'm getting rid of a minion faster or a side scheme faster or clearing something because like, the sand counters on Sandman, right? Like if they exhaust a character and use their attack, like if it gets me to clear those out faster, like I'm all for it then. Like that makes a lot of sense value wise, and it's not the same as it being spread out over time, especially if the board state changes heavily. Now, with that being said, First Aid is a great card, right? This is a card that we all kind of forgot about. And it's like, what, 1 cost card that heals 2, I think, or 2 cost card that heals 3, whatever it is. Can't remember off the top of my head, but it heals a character you control. And I've used that all the time with my allies, right? A lot of times our allies have 3 life. Sometimes they only have 2, so it's like a little bit of a waste, but whatever. A lot of our allies have 3, 4, whatever life. So I find a lot of value of, okay, I'm going to heal them back up, being able to use them for another round or two, because especially if we do like ally swarm builds or we're using our allies to exhaust them to draw up more cards or whatever it is, all that stuff increases the value of it to me. And I don't mind having cards like first aid or something else. Like, Protection has what, Night Nurse or Med Team or whatever. They're like, I think they can heal up characters if I remember correctly, but I don't play Protection as much, so I'm a little rough on those. But like again, you can find ways to heal your allies, and I think again, there's a lot of value in that. So healing your allies is the big one. But I would say is again, if you're dealing with something that has a lot going on the board, like readying up to quote unquote get rid of your allies faster isn't necessarily a bad thing. Especially if I don't know about you all, but when I run like massive ally swarms, I bump up against the ally max a lot. Like to get the supports out and you can get to like 5 or 6 ally, whatever it is, allies out there. Like if you're building a good engine, like that's not hard to get to, generally speaking. So getting to 5 or 6 can happen pretty darn quickly. So I need them to kind of like rotate out faster. We're like, okay, I can use them, ready them up, use them so they knock themselves out so I can get the next ally in and then use them, right? There's a lot more value than like, okay, well, I'll just keep it for an extra round and then I'm holding on to cards and all this stuff. Like, hopefully that makes sense. I know it's like a lot of weird rambling. But anyway, that's what I do. But look at like using first aid or some card like that. All right, so would these work together? So it's a card that shows 3-cost event Super Soldiers. It's an attack team up, Captain America and Winter Soldier, maximum per deck. Hero action, attack, deal 6 damage to an enemy. Give Captain America and Winter Soldier each a tough status. And then they brought the Captain America card that we talked about earlier. That's the leadership card that can only play if Bucky Barnes or Sam Wilson player. And then you exhaust this to spend a resource and find the shield and whatever. No, it would not work. The reason being is because Sam Wilson is not Captain America. Captain America card is just a title. It's not actually Captain America, right? So don't think that's like, I think we're having this thing where like we're thinking like the TV show when Falcon actually becomes Captain America. I think that's what happened in the TV show. I didn't actually watch it, but from my understanding, it's like kind of what happened. That's not the case. Like he's just taking the title of Captain America. He himself is not Captain America. So no, that would not work. All right, last one. Last one before we go over to the patron side and the membership side. New aspects after pool rotates out, which is going to be happening sooner than later, so get ready. I'm excited to see if they will periodically release a different 5th aspect. I like to see a gamma aspect. What aspects would you like to see? It's actually kind of fascinating. So one of my big critiques with the pool aspect is that they never supported it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bitter about this. They said they were going to treat it like a real 5th aspect, and in my opinion, they have not. They was just kind of like this gimmick to charge us more for Deadpool because I knew he was really popular and make it like the pool aspect, which I thought was a silly name to begin with because it really pigeonholes it in there. I could go on. You all know my grievances with it. Now, caveat, I know a lot of people really like the pool aspect and have done a lot of stuff with it. Totally cool. I have not enjoyed it. It's not been for me personally. Let me phrase that. It's actually better not with Deadpool. With Deadpool, I think it's really difficult to navigate and a pain to deal with. I've done it with Wolverine and it wasn't terrible. Like I didn't have a ton of fun, but it wasn't terrible. But that's like the only time I've really enjoyed. The healing card is really nice for Wolverine, and I think X-23 will work well too because you're using your life as a resource, right? So that was like the one good thing. That was like the only thing I wanted the pool aspect for. So one of the issues that with the pool aspect that happened was that they said they wouldn't release pool cards by themselves because you wouldn't be able to play those aspect cards without the encounter card that comes with it. So just to catch people up in case they don't have this, in the Deadpool pack, in order to play the pool aspect, there's an encounter card that comes that lets you play Dreadpool or something like that. I think I don't play enough, as you can tell. I think it's Dreadpool that comes out, and like all these other cards that come out. So it's one card in the encounter deck. It's like Shadow of the Past, basically. And when it's revealed, all this stuff happens. Like more cards get mixed in and whatever. So FFG has stated, Fantasy Flight Games has stated that they do not want to create a product where you need other products to play the thing, which I think is kind of silly because the whole point of the game is that you want people to buy all the products, but sure, whatever, I guess. So they wouldn't come out with any more pool stuff because if you just got like a new hero pack without ever getting Deadpool, you'd be like, well, I can't play these cards because I have no other pool cards, which I don't know, just it seems weird to me, but whatever. So, with that being said, a lot of people assume there will be more pool stuff moving forward if they ever do like a Gwen pool pack or whatever it may be. Now, I will note that Legendary has allegedly, a Marvel Legendary, has allegedly had a hard time with the Deadpool IP, and they're redoing their core box, and the Deadpool hero is no longer in that second edition core box. Like everything else is the same, except they made like minor tweaks to cards and balancing and wording and stuff like that. But Deadpool is gone. And the rumor or understanding, at least, is because the Deadpool IP is really kind of like tough to deal with right now. I wonder what that will do with Marvel Champions, right? Like, are they just going to let the pool aspect kind of slide into oblivion because the Deadpool aspect might be really hard to deal with, which is, again, why it was kind of silly to name the fifth aspect after pool, right? It just, you really pigeonholed yourself in this situation. So also, to really back up, there was supposed to be a fifth aspect when the core box was first conceived. I think it was determination. I know somebody will correct me in the comments or let me know if that's right. I think it's determination, and I forgot how it's supposed to work. It's been explained to me and then I forgot. But they had a whole plan for a fifth aspect, and then something happened or something fell apart or somebody didn't like something or whatever it was. I forgot what it was, and they got rid of it basically. They have the rough outline of what a fifth aspect could be. So I would start there, right? I think that would be fun. I just don't want it to be named after like another thing again. Like this person recommends gamma aspect, and that could be cool if you lean into it. But like, I don't want an aspect just relating to like a very select group of heroes, right? Like She-Hulk and Hulk, and like so it's just gamma related stuff. Like just do the gamma trait stuff. Like we don't need an aspect for that. Um, so yeah, as far as what I would want to see. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. And my problem with a lot of the aspect cards is they're kind of like blending into each other. Like, protection is pretty good at attacking as well, and it's pretty good with allies as well. And aggression is actually not bad at thwarting now, or like removing threat now. And the threat removal is really good. It'd be cool if there was like a status aspect, right? One that really leads into like the status cards. So that would be fun. Or like just has like no allies and maybe like really strong events or something, right? Because like allies are kind of a little or a little powerful. So it'd be fun if the aspect is just like, okay, we're gonna make the events maybe a bit stronger, but like you're not gonna get allies except for your basic allies, of course. But you're not really gonna get allies with it, or like supports or upgrades not gonna be as strong. I don't know. Like there's some fun things I think you can do in there, but just like not just make it like, oh, it's defense based or it's thwarting based or whatever. It's like the card pool is kind of different. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Go back to determination, I guess, and use that. But I think like an aspect that has like no allies would be kind of funny or kind of interesting or different, or like really leans into events, or maybe just leans really into supports and upgrades. I don't really know. But just like leans into something like different like that. Maybe the aspect is a little bit of everything, but like I said, it only does as supports or whatever. I don't know. Just a thought. So anyway, appreciate you all watching this. Make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. We're going to be going over to the patron and YouTube membership side of things. So if you want to do it, become a patron or a member. And I appreciate your support. See you all next time.